Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Call, and I am joined by my brother, the Gritty Bowman.
Hi, guys.
My stellar co-host and brother from the same mother.
This is true.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
We got like a 16-year gap or so between us.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Brian
you're
left.
older?
I look like it at the moment.
He's got
That's
that
beard.
That beard is serious. We're joined by Sean Degray,
Hello, everyone.
the genius and mastermind, and what do you?
TAC man.
No, Brent, not yet. You got to there needs to be more
There's some build-up,
adjectives.
dude. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting.
What's your ethnicity?
I don't know if we need to go there.
don't wanna-
Really.
I thought we were being descriptive.
The genius behind the Total Archery Challenge.
Hold on. You just yelled at me for not going there.
Well, yeah, we drug it on too long.
Okay.
You did it.
Hi,
and
Sean.
actually, it makes it feel pretty insincere, but I appreciate the effort.
There's other people skilled at that, like Jordan Harbison.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more direct.
What do they call those guys back in the old days? Maybe it didn't even happen, but the guy that introduced like the peeps that were going to javelin each other. That's
the Gladiator.
No,
WWE. I watched The Rock do his the other day.
Anyway, you
It
know
was
what
like
I'm talking
this.
about. What do they call that guy?
Not an announcer.
And in this corner, we have... And then
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a cool enough name.
Maybe a
for that.
hawker? Or is that only for selling things?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson does the whole eyebrow thing, turns to
Yeah.
the camera at that moment.
You
know,
can't see
and has
my
a
eyebrows
tagline.
over my glasses. Well, you can. They just kind of mold into a unibrow, so it's just weird. So
Yeah.
we won't draw focus
Well, the
to
glasses
that.
are nice. They hide you.
Yeah. Remember my old glasses you made fun of?
Sean,
First time I met you?
see,
That was it. I was like, this guy's cool. He just
Lowered my
first of all,
self-esteem a couple
first-
notches.
yeah, I'm already wearing glasses, which whatever. And then I get knocked on.
Sean, here's the thing.
They were glued together with
I feel
glue and paper clips. And
Exactly. I feel like people are just a little sensitive.
I cried.
When I just like directness. I do. I like to be quite direct with someone. And
Yeah,
then-
you're like, hey, you can't afford glasses. How do you know if I could or couldn't?
I also said you were a little chubby.
Yeah, you did.
And-
Well, yeah, he did.
And that podcast is still one of my favorites. Every now and then
That was-
I'll go back and
yeah.
listen to it.
That was fun. It
I
was,
laughed pretty hard when I said, Sean, how do you feel about how your wife's super fit, cares about fitness, works really hard at it, and you don't?
It's true. Still true. Still true.
I'll never forget what you said. You're like, well, I asked my wife that one time. It's like, honey, how do you love this?
Yeah.
You know? And she said, well, Sean, I'm just not as shallow as you. I love
It's
your wife.
true. And she still feels that way, I think. Years later.
We wanted to have you on the podcast to talk about the Total Archery Challenge, where it's at right now, what people can expect going into the TAC season.
Yeah, so
And go over some of the disgruntledness that's out there, too.
there's a lot going on at Total Archery Challenge.
Before we
And
do,
Before we do that, we're going to do some other cool stuff.
I just got to announce a couple things.
Yeah.
We have a giveaway going on with a Hoyt bow. Sign up for our newsletter. On April 1st, we're going to send out a notice and say, hey, you have won a bow. You're entered to win if you sign up for the newsletter. We'll pick the winner, and then you'll find out if you're signed up for the newsletter. Go to briancall.com.
What's in the newsletter?
So far, we've never done one, Sean.
Oh.
So
Got it. I'm signing up. Those are my favorite kind of newsletters. I don't even have to read anything.
That's kind of where we're at right now. Is we have everything. We have an account. It's all set up. We just have to decide what goes in our newsletter. What does it look like? Is it aesthetically pleasing to the eye and mind? Currently, it's a blank piece
I
of
think
paper.
what we're going to do is we're going to put in there the film tour dates and locations, and then we're going to put in there some updates on shows that we've recorded that were popular that seemed to people really like. Just highlight a couple of shows.
We're going to start doing more giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're signed up for the newsletter, that's how you kind of
Get in.
Yeah.
get in.
It'll
Get
be
in on
fun.
the goods.
Deals and discounts. Our buddy at Stockison's, Tanner, he still has the code GRITTY, and you can get a pair of these
see.
at a discount.
I looked at those.
What do you think, man?
I think they.
Dude,
I've never
they're
used them, but
nice.
they look awesome.
They feel great too.
Have you used them yet?
I've been wearing them all over.
No, I
back,
mean
back and
hunting.
forth to my house. No,
Oh, yeah.
not hunting yet.
Like stepping on a
Just
stick.
I have snuck up on my kids with them.
They are cool. I think I'm gonna order
See how the
there,
sole
actually.
is double reinforced?
Yeah, I saw him
Tanner's-
stab it with a knife.
Yeah, and he
Mhm.
stepped on cactuses and stuff like that.
Let me turn this off.
So awesome for those desert mule deer hunters that like to sneak up on stuff. Anyway, code GRITTY up until the end of the month. You have until the end of March to use that code. And then about a Chris Spieler, sign up for Grunt Work for a month for free. Sean, you could do that.
Yeah, I should.
It's a great workout. And Chris,
do you have to go somewhere?
Nope.
Just
go to gruntworkout.com or right onto your phone, and it just gives you the workout for the day. And it's easy stuff like kettlebell, or not even kettlebell, like you can use cinder blocks that you get at Home Depot. You can move sandbags.
It's a lot of lifts and carries. Good functional movements.
Backpack hiking, like 2 rucksack hikes a week for certain distances. It's very tailored to preparing someone for hunting.
Oh, nice.
So, it's really cool. It's scalable. So it's not going to make a guy that's out of shape want to quit. It'll get
you decide, right?
Yeah. You really get a great workout and build a nice level of fitness. And later, if you want to go more advanced, you can. You can use this too as warm up once if you're really fit, like some people.
Yeah. If you're really fit. I mean, I do the more advanced workout. So if you're really fit, you could do that.
You could. Brent is more on the lower end scale.
I can lift just as much as Brian can.
He just doesn't look as good.
Well, with the shirt off. Yeah. No. But I don't ever
beard. The beard makes up for a lot. We had Baird's beard oil on the podcast, which we'll get that out here soon. And he said something like, if you have a really chiseled body and an awesome beard, that's pointless. Because an awesome beard means you can have a gut. Like, they compensate for badassery.
I agree.
The beard came because I truly gave up on having hair on top of my head.
Well, the thing about Baird's beard oil, his beard can be hair.
Oh, for sure. In fact,
when you hear about luscious locks, no one ever thinks of a beard.
I know.
Except when you see him.
Well, lately, I've been walking around brushing my beard at home in front of my kids saying, check it out. I have hair.
That's a good point.
Boom.
Because it
fell out of my head, and I got to admit, no, I think I'm going in for a buzz in a week or so.
You mean like all of it?
No, I'm not into the super long. It gets irritating and kind of, it's in the way. Like if I were to do a heavy power clean, I feel like the beard would get caught up in it.
Gotcha.
Now, when we interviewed Baird, he was like, well, I braid it and I tuck it in my shirt, and so then it's like out of the way. But there's that in between.
Yeah, because he's fit, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's fit.
His wife is super fit.
Yeah.
She
well, we were asking about him, but
dude, he's more on the strength side of things, where his wife was
kind of like Monica and I.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we have a couple reviews to read. Brent, Sean, check this out. We got a review today on iTunes. We want to thank folks for that. This review, awesome sauce, 5 stars, great podcast for everyone. Has good content for learning, even if you already know. Yes, maybe there is some episodes that don't interest me personally, but I just don't listen to that whole episode and listen to the ones that do, which is most of them. Keep up the great content, Brian. Gritty Broman, you freaking crack me up. You always have something funny to add. Love it, guys, and stay gritty.
That is awesome.
I feel like I'm put on the spot because I have nothing funny to say right now.
You dropped the ball there. This one says,
you'll make up for it.
Hopefully.
This one says, keep staying gritty. I love your show. I love the content you keep putting out, and I've learned a lot from you. My wallet has suffered checking out all the gear you use. As strange as this is and sounds, watching you, there's like a connection, a friendship.
That's awesome.
Gritty fan for life. Lately, when some negative comment, like I'll get negative feedback, or I'll just get online and I'll just agree with someone's ideas or comment. But back to the directness with your glasses and your body, I just, like my wife asked me one time.
So you're not sensitive
years
to
ago.
Others.
Not really.
You're just sensitive when they give it to you. But you're just like, look, you're fat and ugly, dude.
Years ago.
Embrace it.
You're a handsome man. Years ago, my wife said, does this dress make me look fat? And my response was, no, honey, your fat makes you look fat.
I like it. That's funny.
And she was actually not that mad.
Yeah.
Because we've always been really honest with each other.
Yeah.
So I was saying that the other day. I like to be very direct. She's direct with me. I'm direct with her. And we keep it real.
Yeah.
When I am talking to someone on Instagram or on an email or whatever, and they tell me their viewpoint, and I disagree with that viewpoint, and I tell them my viewpoint, Sean, often they're offended by my response.
They take it as an attack.
Yeah, and maybe and they perceive me as being really sensitive or oversensitive. I'm not really too bothered by what you said. I just flat out disagree.
Right.
Which I think it's kind of weird we can't be in this world today where we have this really direct conversation without someone getting their feelings hurt over it.
Right.
It's like, dude, we're just having a discussion.
And it's okay.
Yeah. I like the Garmin Zero. You don't. You think it's not ethical. I do. We just had a discussion. I'm not mad at you.
Right.
So that brings us into the Total Archery Challenge, which has been challenged lately.
Well, so I wouldn't say
move that mic a little closer. There we go.
Right there?
Yeah.
Jordan Harbison was saying you were a sellout.
Well, I am. In the sense that we sold out.
Exactly.
So yes, we have ran into some exciting, depending on which side of the fence you're on here, and also a challenge. This is a first world problem that we've ran into.
Too much of a good thing.
This is what we did is we've capped how many people can attend the event per day. Yeah. And the reason we did that was because we recognized the issue based on people telling us, hey, this is a problem, and us seeing it firsthand also on how long you had to wait to get on the mountain, how long you had to wait at each target, et cetera. So we made some adjustments. We started Snowbird, and we were changing that on Saturdays. We were doing knock times for the first couple of years before we started it across the whole tour.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked well because it spread people out. You knew you could show up at a certain time and you're getting on.
So to back up just a little bit, Total Archery Challenge is an archery event where you get to, like golf 3D, you get to walk around and shoot targets.
Right.
Right.
And you start at a certain time on a certain course.
You have tee times like golf.
Yep.
Basically, that you have established. Knock times. Now, you didn't have this in the beginning. It was just show up, buy your tickets, whatever,
and
get them early and get on. And you had a lot of times they're at a ski resort or something of the sort. Yep. So you ride the lift up, you get onto the range, you do your course, you come down the mountain, and you're back at the beginning.
Right.
And you can do multiple courses, and they're awesome. So that's the event. It started small.
Right.
Now it has become wildly popular.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because it's awesome.
Yeah, and we absolutely love it. But to say thanks to all of the people that participate with us year after year after year, we've allowed them to register. So we send out a VIP email, and if you're on the email list and you're a participant at one of the events, you have the ability to register. Well, we don't have some scoring system that puts one guy ahead of another. Mm-hmm. And so go ahead.
And how did you develop this list?
From people that have participated in the past or are part of our email newsletter that we don't send out.
Okay, so
we send out blank.
When they bought a ticket.
Yeah, if you participated last year, you're on that list.
Now, what if someone showed up and bought a ticket at the event? They didn't get on the list, did they?
They did if we had their email because they participated in the event.
So they give you an email when they get their ticket.
Yeah. But we sold out last year too. So 98% of the people that make it on that list are past participants. And then we have a small percentage where people that got on the email list newsletter. So
they went to the website and said, hey, we want to be notified.
Yeah. And that's totally fine, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So this has never happened to us. We sold out in like 3 days or 4 days last year.
Yeah.
I think Saturday went quick. Yeah, it probably sold out the first day.
But you still had Friday or
we still had time.
Yeah.
This year, it sold out extremely fast. There were some issues on the registration. So when you go in, it says there's 15 spots left and you wanted 5. It doesn't hold those in queue. So whoever checks out first gets those. Oh. So the issue that people were running into, and this is an issue that we are working, we won't have this issue next year.
Yeah.
Like these are issues that came up. Now we see the issue. we fix it.
Right.
The problem is we didn't recognize this issue prior to, because our other events short of Montana don't sell out in the same speed, right?
Right.
They're still
So if it was in someone's shopping cart,
and you beat them to the checkout,
then
it reduces the availability.
Reduced the availability. And then people are like, what the heck?
And then they got to go back, try to do it. Well, while they're doing that, more are being sold. And then all of a sudden they're all gone.
Yeah.
Like in 35 minutes, Saturday's sold out. This is unprecedented, okay?
And the way that this happens is they receive the email in their inbox.
Yep.
That's how that's how you announce that, hey,
that's how we announced
registration
for
is
VIP.
open.
And then we were going to announce it for everyone else, but there was nothing left.
Oh, no.
And when you say VIP, those are the people, again, that
have participated with us in the past. And
made a barrier to entry for new people.
So
essentially, there is.
They didn't even get a chance.
They didn't get it. Well, that's not entirely true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, let's say you got the email and you shared it with your brother.
Right.
So,
hey, get on there now, quick. Because
and they share the link. We can't control that.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're going to try to control that.
No.
So there are new people that are doing the event that have never done it before because you're recruiting them.
But selling out in 35 minutes, this thing that sucks is if a guy is in the shower and the email comes in, he's been waiting for it.
Well, the email came in the day before and gives them, we sent it out and said, hey, it's going to open tomorrow at X time.
Oh, okay.
It's not like it came and it's open.
Okay. Okay. So the email comes and it says, okay, tomorrow we're opening registration at such and such time.
Yeah.
So guy has like 24 hours to get the email and
get on. Yeah.
Yep. And then it sold out within 35 minutes.
For Saturday,
with the shopping cart issue.
Well, it sold out. It would have sold out in 17 minutes if we didn't have the shopping cart issue, right? So
it helped some people, it hurt others.
What it is we're getting a lot of hate because it's sold out. And on the one hand, that hurts, right? We're like, seriously, we're getting hate because we're limiting this to make it better because it sucked to be up there and take 8 hours to go down the course.
I got a bunch of DMs and emails from people saying they were disappointed or comments about how they can't attend this year, and they're really bummed about it.
And on the flip side of that, of it hurting, at the same time, that's pretty cool. It's cool that we've created an event collaboratively. I don't mean just us, Monica and I, and I'm talking us, our partners that are on there, the sponsors, and the shooters. Yeah. Let's be honest. How did this event get so popular? Well, it wasn't what we're doing. We put on a really good event. Yeah. And we take pride in that. And we really do want to create something that's fun for you as the participant. Yeah. Because we take great pride in that.
The whole community was involved, though.
The whole community's involved in making this event something so cool. Yeah. You show up there and you're slapping high fives with the guys that follow you, and then you got the other guys who follow this guy and the Ryan Carters, and then we've got amazing partners, Yeti, Mountain Ops, Sitka, Prime. Yeah. We got all sorts of people. All of those people make this event amazing. But in the end, when you do something fun like that, you share it with everyone else, and it has just grown to be what it is today. I mean, we have 2,100 shooters right now that are coming to this event. Yeah, that's awesome.
You end up with you can have a situation where, I mean, that's where you've arrived at. The demand is high and the supply is low.
Yeah. So we have to figure out a balance. So we're working on that. We're going to see. We're trying to do a couple things. We'll see what happens. I'm going to Park City on Friday and to see what else we can do to try to add stuff to it, to try to open space for it. But in the end, we can't. Yeah. We're not going to be able to get it all.
Well, I remember,
and you can't make everybody.
Some of the messages I saw, one of them was, hey, so what? I had to wait in line. So what?
Yeah. It's called patience. I read that.
Yeah, it's called patience. Get over it. We all wait in line. Well, I wonder if those individuals actually waited in line the way I waited in line one year. Because when I waited in line, it was like 45 minutes between each shot. Yeah. It was a mess.
Yeah, Snowbird would have taken you 7.5 hours if you were during that crazy time. 7.5 to 8 hours. We have a couple people that took 9 hours to do one course. That's not fun. It's not fun to get up there, stand in line forever, get beat by the heat. You're tired. It's a mean mountain. And I don't care where you're at. It doesn't matter, Snowbird, Park City, wherever. So the answer to that was reduce attendance, which we had to do to create a better experience for the guy on the mountain.
Yeah.
To think any other way is short-term gains. To say, well, let's just leave it open. Snowbird, it was a 3.5 hour wait to get on the mountain on Saturday before we started doing the full knock times across the board.
Yeah. Now you've got those times. People are efficient. They can get on, and they go from shot to shot to shot to shot to shot.
Yeah, there still may be a wait. You might still have some wait, and that's
no different than a good
bearable.
golf game.
Yeah,
right?
that wait's bearable. What was happening is how long it was taking, and even just to get there. So it's a mad rush in the morning to get there, and everybody stands in line.
Yeah. If you're referencing, you had to wait just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm used to that.
10 minutes is an acceptable wait time, I think.
Waiting,
something like that.
Waiting 40 minutes between each shot, especially if you get behind someone that's just, or a group that's just all backed up. Yeah, it's
people were walking off the mountain, not finishing the course. They're like, dude, it was a freaking joke. I'd shot 7 targets and it's been 4 hours.
I'm done.
Yeah. I just walked off the mountain.
Yeah. So you have both. You can't please everybody.
You can't.
But I think it is the right move to add the tee times. So now, if someone wants to attend TAC, let's say moving into the next year, they're on the VIP list. You're going to have the shopping cart thing fixed, but still, it's going to be
sell out. It's
going to be demand and supply.
Yeah. So we're working on a couple of things. I think we are going to add another event here in Utah.
Yeah.
We have to. And we've looked at other venues and turned them down because we need the right recipe. We're not just looking for a resort to do a shoot on. There's a recipe to it that needs to make sense. But we are going to try to do that. However, in the meantime, we're going to see what we can do at Park City to try to expand our ability without sacrificing the experience of the people that are in. I mean, there is no easy answer.
Yeah.
Because you're either in everyone and you wait forever and it sucks, or you're not in and it sucks.
Right.
For the people that didn't get in.
Right.
And we do take it personal. We absolutely love this business. We put everything into it. And I think now we're seeing this hatred that we're getting because it's sold out or because this issue or that issue is proof that we're putting on something special that we put everything into it. We want you guys to have an extremely good time. And we wish we could accommodate everyone.
Were any of the locations, did they all sell out?
No. So Montana's sold out. Utah's sold out. Pennsylvania is sold out except for Thursday. And then there's space and some others. But the other events
South
are
Dakota.
Yep.
And
Michigan.
Vermont.
Yep.
What about San Antonio?
Yeah, there's space there.
Texas.
And Tennessee.
So people, if they want to make a trip, they can go to a TAC event.
Yep.
It just won't be the one maybe in their backyard, which, it's a little salty.
But you know what? A whole bunch of people at these Utah and Montana events, it's not their backyard.
Oh, right. People special make that trip. Yeah,
and
I
so
agree. Last year, I swear half the people I met were from the East Coast.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think last year when we ran the numbers, 40% of the people that attended Utah were not from Utah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's special.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And short of what's happening right now with the selling out and all that and the headaches there, that's a win we should celebrate. And I'm talking about us as a whole.
Yeah.
The guy that made the comment you referred to earlier, he said, why can't you just open it up to everybody? Waiting's, it's called patience.
Right.
And he said, you've turned it into a business.
Well, you've turned it into...
Not a family event. And
he said it was alluding to the idea that it was only for the elite.
The elite, yeah. The who's who. Mm-hmm. And we still get accused of that a lot on the who's who thing. But in the end, there's not 2,100 who's who's in the hunting industry anyway.
No.
And what we do for sponsors is we've always done this. Even in the beginning when it got crowded, we implemented this early time that's when we can send sponsors up without having to try to organize.
Sitka's a partner.
Sitka, Yeti, Mountain Ops, Prime.
So those guys, they get a tee time in the morning before the whole thing starts. Where they get to go and hit the mountain and come back down. It's not taking away from. In some sense, you could say it takes away, but they're partners, man.
Yeah,
they're paying to be part of. They're the reason it exists.
Yeah, these people are a major part of what the event is. Without them, it would not be what it is. Mm-hmm. And so we added this time that's never been open to the public. Even in the beginning, it wasn't open to anybody to go up to say, hey, from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 7:30 a.m., so to speak, these are your times where we can push you guys into here, get up the mountain, burn down the mountain quick, get back in your booth.
Yeah.
And it's worked great. And so for the guys like this gentleman we're talking about who's upset that we save spots for you guys, I mean, we're saving those spots in the morning. They were never open. They've never been open to
the public.
Now, do we send some public guys up on that? Yeah. Once we've filled that with all the sponsors, if there's room, then some of these guys that couldn't get in or need to go early or whatever, we work with them. We try to work with everybody.
Yeah.
So, but you can't allow everybody to come on with what we currently have in our availability. And
what's cool though is, for example, when I was in Colorado, South Dakota wasn't that far of a drive.
No.
Or a flight, and there's some great events. People seem to really target the Utah and the Montana venue. And I go to PA every year. I'm going to try to do it again this year. And it's awesome.
It is awesome.
And I haven't been to a TAC event where I didn't have a blast or it wasn't a great community. So to me, if you can't make it to the Utah one, you really want to be at one, consider making a trip to one of the other ones.
Yeah, I think what I think is, you hit it. It's the community and our partners. Our event is consistent across the board. Whatever we're doing in San Antonio, we're trying to do that in each event. So, Park City, Montana, whatever. And you're absolutely right. They are all a blast. There is something to be said about sitting at 10,000 feet. Right?
For sure.
Because you're not getting that in some of these other events.
Yep.
But Terry Peak is probably one of the harder shoots we have.
Yep.
The terrain and layout and shots. I mean, it is an extreme fun shoot. It's not extreme like break your legs. Mm-hmm. It's not long like Snowbird was. It didn't take you 5 hours to do a course. It's a shorter mountain, but it's got some incredible terrain to shoot around. And you still get that high mountain feel as you're looking across the horizon, which is a big part for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Vermont's new this year. We went out there and toured the venue, skied it, and that mountain is absolutely beautiful. I'm super excited about Vermont. And it's actually a big mountain we're on. There is going to be some incredible shots. When you're thinking of the Northeast, this mountain we're on, as far as shooting goes, it's going to be at the top of our events. Because this mountain is fantastic. And the Killington Pico guys are treating us absolutely great. The local shops are getting involved and helping us out. Like, there's a lot of energy behind this new event, and it's super exciting. So, like you said, if you can't make it into one of these other two, there's other events that are equally fun. Mm-hmm. The Tennessee event is phenomenal, and it is a awesome shoot. The terrain is fantastic. It's beautiful. It's not rolling hills. It's got a lot of rocks and cliffs, and it's a really fun event. And so, yeah, the consistency of it, short of Montana and Utah, we have more sponsor vendor, but outside of that, the event's fantastic.
If you sell out in 35 minutes in Utah, then obviously if you had 2 weekends, you'd fill them.
I think so.
Do you have any, what's the hold up on that?
So, well, venue restrictions, right? So it's getting the ability to have that extra weekend.
How hard was it this year to get a new venue?
well, it took us forever to open it up because it took us forever to get it done. It's not easy. But now that we're there, we're working through, hey, what else can we do to try to provide? And we're also looking at a couple other venues. Utah's going to have 2 events. Yeah. Now, whether it's at the same venue or 2 separate venues, I don't know yet. Right. In the interim, we're trying to figure out other options. And on top of that, we're really trying to build out the base. The Mountain Festival is what we call it. Mm-hmm. We want to build out the Mountain Festival so that let's say you can't make it. Right. Or you only got 1 day. Right. Like it's sold out. All I could get was 1 day. The base of the mountain's going to have
the whole weekend.
Yeah, the base of the mountain's going to have a lot going on, especially in Utah with collaborating with the Elk Foundation. They've got so much going on.
Is Alpha going to be there?
Alpha is going to be there. So there's a lot of opportunity here to do other things if you only had 1 day.
Right.
Or even if you didn't get on the mountain, there's still a lot to do to collaborate on, attend the parties, and do all this.
There's all the targets there that are in the practice range.
Absolutely.
You can hit that. You can do the Alpha Bow Hunting Challenge, which I think is pretty cool. It's a challenge your buddy, do that kind of stuff. You mentioned that last year, how you were going to try to build out the base so that people could come and just kind of be part of that, even though they can't
there's
shoot
experiences
the course.
At the base that if you can't get on the mountain that you could do there. Yeah.
So do you recommend someone come for that?
I think for the Utah one, I absolutely do. Because of what is going on with the Elk Foundation's Elk Camp and Mountain Festival. Gotcha. So I 100% think you should. They've got stuff going on all day. So I think it's worth it to attend for that.
Yeah.
The other events, as we build them out, I think Montana, you've been there. I mean, that's an event you could go have a good time at and not be on the mountain.
Absolutely. In fact, there's all the kids courses and stuff kind of down there where you just, or trad bow, where you just kind of shoot around. Just kill the dinosaurs and all that, which is really fun with family. You get to hang out in the base camp area with all the vendors and all the people, and you learn. You can look at gear, all kinds of stuff. But then you got the mountain there where you can shoot all the practice and target stuff out to crazy ranges. And then there's even like some novelty shots where you can win some money.
Like the truck and Sitka gear. And we've got a lot going on there. But on top of that, the resort has a lot going on.
Right.
So there's a lot more than just what we offer to come up and if you wanted to make a weekend out of it. I mean, there's a lot of people that go to Big Sky just to go to Big Sky and have a weekend with their family.
Yeah.
Now all we're going to do is we're adding to that experience at the base if you can't make it.
Yeah.
Again, we would love to have everybody there. But if we don't have the capacity, it doesn't make sense to have everybody there. And so our objective is, well, number one, we're going to fix our issue with the registration platform. But what that doesn't do is open up more space, which in the end, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about needing more space. So now our challenge is how do we add more space? And that's what we're working on. I mean, let's put at 8:30 a.m. yesterday, told me it's time to work on this right now because maybe we can come up with a solution for 2019. If it adds a couple hundred, great. If it adds 800, great for the current event.
Right.
But also we're working on getting that second venue. Like I said, we looked at one already. We were excited to do it. But the way they had that set up and how it was going to work, it just didn't fit. It felt like we were just forcing ourselves to be there. And we didn't want that.
Yeah.
We love some easy flow, consistent movement, keep people together for synergy, and that's very important.
As much as I loved Snowbird, the course, I hated the base camp area. Hated
it's hard.
And on the concrete down there, or the pavement, or up on the sky, it all sucked.
Yeah.
You know, it never flowed well. The course kind of made up for it somewhat, but yeah, I much prefer the base camp at Big Sky.
Yeah, Big Sky's base camp is awesome. You can do a lot in it. We do the after party right in the base camp, which is also what we do in Tennessee and in Texas and in Michigan. And
this year you have some hikes?
Yeah, so we're working with we're working with a sponsor right now to decide how we're going to implement the hike.
Okay.
We are going to do the Cam Haines Trail Run. like we've done in the past at Snowbird. We'll continue to do that in Utah, but we're working on doing some hikes. We are going to BHA's doing an after party on Friday nights at most of the events, and RMEF is doing a party on Saturday nights. So we've got 2 nights of entertainment. However, in South Dakota, BHA has the Saturday night party, and Wild Sheep's doing it in Big Sky for Saturday night. So we're adding some entertainment for the evenings that we haven't had in the past, add an extra night, which I think will be a lot of fun. There's going to be...
Do you have to have bought a ticket for the event to attend some of that stuff?
No. So for the after parties, you do not have to be a Total Archery Challenge attendee.
Okay.
It's open to everyone. Now, there is a charge if you're going to do, they have raffles, and if they, depending on which venue, there's going to be some charges there. Some are going to charge for food.
At the door and stuff,
So, but that's all a fundraiser for these conservation groups that we all believe in.
Right.
And so it's important for us, and that's why I like that we're doing it 2 nights in a row. For one, it gives you something to do each night. And 2, it provides another opportunity to give back and continue to protect our heritage and, do what we need to do as a group of hunters to continue to be able to hunt.
Right.
So there's a lot of things we're trying to do. We love constructive feedback, probably like you. Hey, you should do this or do that or whatever. And if it makes sense and fits within, we're like, it's a good idea. We're going to do that. Didn't think about that. Thank you. And then there's the other ones where it's vindictive and hateful and they're being a jerk. Well,
being a jerk is easy. Being creative is hard.
Right. And and when they're like that, I'll be honest, there probably is some good information in them being an a-hole, but I disregard it.
Right.
Because my defense mechanism kicks in and I'm like, why couldn't you have said that like a decent person?
Yeah. Right.
Like, the guy who gets an email, I got an email this morning direct to me. I don't know how they got my email. And it said, hey, just got on, tried to sign up, saw it sold out fast. Congrats to you guys. That's awesome. I'm super bummed. I've tried to do this thing every year since you guys started. And how do I get on a waiting list? Well, what do you think is going to happen with me? Am I going to try to help this guy? Yeah, I'm going to try to help him. If it makes sense, I'm helping this guy get in. Then there's the other guy who's like, you're an a-hole. You guys are stupid. This is the worst organized event in the whole world. You ruined my summer. Thanks a lot. Explicative.
You ruined 3 months worth of summer over one weekend.
So, and I'm like,
that's impressive, Sean.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's a legit email. That's what we got. You ruined it.
Yeah.
How hard do you think I'm going to try to help that guy? Right? You're not at the top of my priority.
Right. Yeah.
Because on the one hand, you told me how big of a loser I am, and on the other hand, you told me how amazing my event is. Right. So thank you for that. But no
Perhaps
thanks.
a little better approach.
And it's navigating through that, and luckily I'm not. We've got Monica, who most of these people who have attended know.
Yeah.
She's super sweet. She wants to help everybody. So her and Jen, if you've done anything customer service-wise, you've probably dealt with Jen at some point. They're handling that, which is good, because I'm not as good at that. Because I look at it and I'm like, why is this guy being a jerk?
Yeah.
Like, we want to help, but we want to help the ones that want to be helped.
Yep.
And there's a lot of, here's the one thing that I absolutely love about the people that attend our event, the shooters. They are passionate. And I love it, and I respect it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So even when they are hateful to some degree, and you can kind of crack that shell, and then they let the truth come out, like, don't change your passion, because it is awesome.
Right.
How much you love doing what you do.
Yes.
And getting outside, as we all know, because we all participate in it. I don't know about Gritty Broman.
He's working on it.
Gritty Broman's archery setup is less than optimal.
It doesn't have to be archery, just outdoor.
Oh, yeah. I'm outdoors all the time.
That's what I'm saying. We all know how much we love being outdoors and doing the things that we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that everyone out there that the thousands of people that registered yesterday and the however many more that want to be there want to be part of what we've been able to create collectively, including them. Mm-hmm. This would not be as big as it is or as cool as it is without all the participants.
Right.
I just absolutely love it.
On another note, shifting gears a little bit, how much do you think, dollar-wise, if you could just speculate a little bit, you have contributed to the arrow company's bottom line?
So,
I mean, honestly, if you have 2,000 shooters come through, and is that over an entire weekend? Or
those are unique. That's unique shooters, unique people.
Okay,
we could do a little bit of math, Brian. How many arrows do you lose?
2,000 unique, and average arrow loss.
I'm just going to take this piece of paper with lots of secret codes on it.
Because seriously,
so
the amount of carnage you find up there.
Yeah, so let's do the math. What's an average dozen arrows cost?
I would say $110.
Say 100. Keep it
100.
easy.
Okay.
I mean, arrows vary so much nowadays.
We could say $100. $100 is pretty standard.
What would you say the average loss of arrows would be, do you think, amongst your group?
I would say, honestly, man, I watch so many people blow. I think
4.
At least
4 is a good.
If you have a guy, I don't know, man. Some guys lose 12, so you have these extreme.
What's the most you've lost one year and the least you've lost?
I would say we're in the neck of over maybe $250,000 to $300,000 in arrows, depending on, because you got to include field tips.
I believe it, dude. I believe it.
I believe it too. I know what we've picked up off of Snowbird before, and it's.
What do you guys do with all that carbon? Can it be recycled?
I wish, but here is one cool thing. It doesn't happen at all of them, but at a few of them, including Montana, Utah, Terry Peak, and Michigan to some degree. They the clubs. There's some clubs that collect arrows for kids. Mm-hmm. So because you'll
break the tip
off or whatever. Or it's missing a knock or it cracked so they collect them and will rebuild them. So that they're for kids, because kids can break a lot of arrows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then in Montana and Utah, there is a gal that takes all the broken arrows and does sculptures.
That's cool.
And she's done some really cool stuff. But so they do get used to some degree. Not all of them. It'd be awesome if all of them were used. Some of them are unusable, probably. But if we were in the arrow writing pen making business. Then we could make a lot of pens.
I was going to say, we need to come up with some way to reuse all those things because $250,000 in busted arrows.
Yeah. So, and
split that across, maybe 5 major arrow companies.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
I would say we see, what'd be fun to do, and maybe we'll do this, is we'll count.
How many of each brand?
Yeah. I did this once when we were cleaning up a highway down in southern Utah with group of young men. We were seeing what beer,
yeah.
Who littered, drank what beer, and what soda.
Bud Light.
Mountain Dew. It was Mountain Dew and Bud Light.
Knew it.
Took the lead on drinkers that
leave their trash.
So now we need to do this on arrows and see whose arrows are breaking. But we see a lot of, there's, like you said, the top 5. You see a lot of Easton, Gold Tip, Victory, Carbon Express, and what's
Gold Tip?
No, I said Gold Tip. Black Eagle.
We
see a few of those, but usually it's. I mean, who owns the market on arrows. So,
I'm also not going to take my super nice arrows to TAC.
Well,
Brian has a TAC setup that is.
This year, I built a TAC setup.
So listen,
I have like 24 shafts that are totally different than my hunting arrows, and
different, or let the same arrow and build.
No, like they're different. They're lighter. They shoot a little flatter, but they're still heavy enough that they should buck the wind well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to use my Valkyrie, setup on that. I did last year, and
It was expensive.
You have created an
lost.
event that's so fun and cool. Brian has gone and made a setup just to shoot it for
Absolutely.
one weekend.
Well,
And this year it's going to be like, because when I shoot with Cameron Haynes in Utah, Cam will finish the target, and I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but then the next
Edit
target
it.
is like 100 and
No, don't tell. No, don't tell me. I don't want to hear it.
It
I don't want to
never
hear.
happens.
I don't want to hear how you break the rules. I don't want to hear about it.
it never
Listen,
happens.
we don't do the who's who BS here. If you're breaking the rule, you're off the mountain.
Yes,
So don't tell me about it.
I agree.
I wanna know.
Fully agree. You
Here's
have
the
some.
thing.
You
I
have some
watched
shots
some
that are like
videos.
120 yards out
Yeah. Yes.
that are like
that shouldn't be extended.
completely, and 120
And-
yards is far
and
enough. You're going to
they
lose
are
some
never
arrows.
extended, folks. Never.
No, do not extend them.
You know the greatest target you have for a long distance shot, stupid long, is the Yeti. Like the 10-foot
He's
Yeti.
awesome though.
Because if you miss GR,
You've got like 5 feet
of drop.
foam.
Yes,
Yeah. You've even got. I mean, he's
He's not little. He's a full
No,
size
he's-
Yeti.
you got good width too.
yeah. I've heard
Uh-huh.
that Yeti is built from exact specs.
Really.
I can't tell you any more than that.
There
Well,
are
I-
exactly 30 Yetis in the United States, and they all guard black sites. So just a little
Yep.
heads up.
Yeah. Well, they built this target. I mean, it's yeah.
It's pretty realistic, huh?
No. It is real. They told me. So, but the Yeti is awesome. The event is an absolute blast. We just have to figure out how do we accommodate everybody.
Yeah.
And we're going to get that fixed. That's our challenge.
We can't just
accept
add
it.
more days in the middle of the week. It needs to be a weekend.
To make the most sense, it needs to be a weekend, and we understand that. We may need to add an extra day. Maybe it's a Wednesday or a Monday.
Can people
I don't
just
know.
sign up just for like one specific course?
Yeah. One day, one course, you can do that. What happens is at 1 o'clock, if you haven't, we do knock times up through 12:30. Once that 12:30 knock time's gone up the mountain, anyone who had a knock time can go up and do another course of their choice. There's no knock time for that second course.
Yeah.
Just come on up, choose your course, go shoot it, have a good time.
But you've done the math where you figured out that if you allow
spreads
that,
it around.
it spreads it around.
Mhm. Yep.
And
And it worked last year. It worked well.
yeah.
It's not unfortunate that we had to do what we did.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
This is great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not shying away that it's successful and fun and we've done something here that people want to be a part of.
What's pretty cool about it too is when it comes down to actually translating into a hunting experience, you learn a lot.
You
Because
do.
when you start trying to shoot through trees, you learn, oh, wow, there's an arc to this arrow, and this I can't shoot the way I think I can. Or when you're shooting long distance with the wind blowing really hard across, like Snowbird has this moose shot in the past where my arrow would drift 18 inches.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, and it wasn't, I couldn't see the wind and I couldn't feel the wind. It's just all rock. You don't see a bush moving.
Right.
You shoot and your arrow ends way back and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Then you realize how much drift your arrow has. You learn, okay, now when I shoot the Valkyrie with the heavy front and center, I can just aim point on pretty much unless the wind and it'll
Burns
hit.
through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That taught me some things in a real scenario where I want that to translate into a hunting situation. I need a better setup.
Yeah. And you're not unique to that. We do get a lot of emails or messages that are like, hey, check this out. Because of TAC, I went into this confident. I knew I could make this shot.
Yeah.
And it worked out to where it was, I almost replicated the same thing I was doing at Total Archery Challenge.
Yeah, those steep vertical shots, those teach you lessons. You have a shot. I remember in Montana. It was a long shot, and the angle was steep, and the rangefinder was off by 5 yards.
Oh, really?
If I use a rangefinder, I needed to cut 5 in order to hit that target.
Oh, wow.
And because once you get to those distances at those angles, a lot of those algorithms and those rangefinders break down.
Right.
And that's a lesson you learn. Not that I'm necessarily taking those shots on a live
No,
animal.
but the more you know, the better, right?
Yeah.
Alan Bolin hit me up. He shot an incredible sheep
Mm-hmm.
here. Was it last year? Or you know what sheep
Yep.
I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And he said, the shot on that sheet was the cliff shot. And I'd shot that cliff shot so many times at Snowbird that there wasn't a hesitation on knowing I can get this sheep. And so he stalks in on it, shoots his sheep. And that's just extra bonus, right?
Right.
It's like so fun to do the event and do all this. And then in the end, you walk away and you're like, I can make that shot.
Well, when you see a guy draw his bow back when he's already bent over, and then he's holding it kind of weird, and he hasn't really aligned the same way as if you draw it from vertical and then tilt, right? And a guy will way undershoot or overshoot, and that's such a major learning tool, especially if you're hunting out west, or I like to climb to the moon when I'm in a tree stand.
Yeah.
And so it's the same kind of situation.
Yep. Yeah, and we do a lot of that. A lot of our shots are purely for fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch an arrow fly that far. But you do learn a lot when you're shooting at those distances. And then the flip side of that, and this is what you hear a lot back east especially, is we do all these shoots and these guys are launching arrows at 60, 80, 100, 120 yards, right? Mm-hmm. And they hunt out of a tree stand primarily.
Yeah.
Well,
this is like a foreign...
no, they do this and they get good at it.
Yeah.
When we first went out to Pennsylvania, our very first year, and we've got people show up. We only had 222 people show up. Those people owned the mountain. I was puking my guts out. Like, how am I going to survive? And these guys are like, best shoot ever. No one was on the mountain. I was alone.
Yeah.
So they come out and they've got their single pins and they're shooting out to 30 yards or whatever and trying to figure it out. Then the next year, these 222 people show up and they've got slider sights and they're geared up, ready. So they do all this. They go and do these shoots, and then they go sit in their tree stand and they're shooting 20 yards, 30 yards, and maybe a 40-yard shot. And they're like,
easy,
done.
Yeah,
40 yards out of my tree stand nowadays, I'm set.
Yeah,
this is awesome. And that when we hear that, we love it. Yeah. I absolutely love hearing, hey, I did this. I got so confident I did this. Like, I got it.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Something that's pretty cool right now that I feel we should all recognize too is, like you said, you had 200 people show up in Pennsylvania. This event exists because you worked your butt off to make it exist. And if you hadn't built that, because what's so cool right now is you have archery year round. You have your hunting seasons and all that, but because you have this shoot, bow hunting is sort of a year-round discussion. It's a year-round. So do podcasts kind of help with that. It's not like seasonal hunting TV. It's
all the time,
which is great because you get to kind of be immersed in bow hunting if it's your thing and your passion year-round.
Yeah.
Instead of just when the season comes. And you're able to connect with like-minded people year-round.
Yep.
Instead of just in your local group.
Yeah.
And people make connections up on the mountain, hunting partners, new guys that they're going to hunt with next year. And it's wild.
It's awesome. It's so fun to be. I've never done the shoot.
Which is so crazy.
So
it's like those people that live in Vegas but never go on the strip.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I've never done it, but one thing I do love, I love setting up the events. I love the whole thinking through the shots on how this would work or that would work, how people are going to react or whatever. Because at the same time, we need to build a shot that can work. Occasionally we've messed up where it was like an impossible shot and they mowed down a tree.
Right.
But most of the time it's like we got to think through the mechanics of it.
Yeah, one time I did locals in Montana and I'm like, the first 7 shots I lost 7 arrows. It's like and this was supposed to be the easy course.
Yeah.
No, because what you had was things you had to thread that
I always tell them, they're like, you only gave us 6 inches. I'm like, look, it's a 1/4 inch diameter arrow. 6 inches, that's a lot of space. I mean, imagine driving a car and you had, what would that be? That's 24 times the space that you need to drive that car through.
Right.
Yeah.
It's totally
the same,
and
right?
Yet I hit a lot. I lost a lot of arrows. I was like, people are like, they're only 20 to 25, 30 yards. Yeah, but you got to thread them through the matrix.
Yeah.
I'm like,
hey, most of those shots were doable.
Well,
just
It was a bad day for me. Most though, my favorite ones are definitely long distance wide open.
Yeah.
I like those shots. Shots where I got to shoot through crap. I don't like that.
Well, it's good practice though. Aim small, miss small.
It is.
And they're all shorter, right? I mean, you got to really focus. There's a few bombers probably in PA that you're shooting through.
Well, in PA, because I mean, I'm gonna keep it real, because PA doesn't really have mountains. They just have that hill that you shoot around.
I think it's 700, 900 feet, something like that is the height, is the elevation drop.
Because you've got that, you end up shooting. To make the courses more challenging, you're shooting through trees and bushes and stuff.
Although you get on those
fun.
Open slopes, and there's some like the moose, that downhill shot on the moose where you shoot all the way down the slope.
That one's cool. And the mountain goat.
The mountain goat's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mountain goat's cool.
Yeah.
And I've realized those mountain goat targets are way bigger. They're kind of like the Yeti.
Yeah.
They got lots of like
They're way bigger than a mountain goat.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which I prefer.
More foam, better.
Give me lots of real estate.
Yeah.
Let's get it in there.
No, it is a lot of fun, and it has grown it like crazy, and in no thanks to the participants.
Yeah.
Because when you did it, who have you shared it with? Right?
Everybody can.
Yeah. And
my kids and family, we all look forward to it every year.
Yeah. I just got done talking to Trevor, and he got on, Trevor there at Mountain Hops, and he got on to register for Thursday, and he's like, my wife plans our summer around Big Sky. Mm-hmm. Or no, around this event, Utah. I think he comes to Big Sky too.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like that is awesome.
It has been cool.
And I struggle sometimes. You and I have discussed this in the past. I struggle sometimes to talk about the event because I don't want to. I get very passionate about it because we really did. We put everything into it, right? So when I talk about it, I don't want to come across like arrogant because of what it's doing and how fun it's been. And now you're seeing like events popping up everywhere because they see that
what this could be.
That
it's like podcasts
we've
that
added
started
something to the industry that's exploded.
Right.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how exciting. People are like, oh, you got competitors popping up. I'm like, good.
All right. Great. How I feel about podcasts.
You don't have to. There isn't a TAC side or a someone else side.
Mm-hmm.
It's another shoot, another opportunity to get
archery.
better. And it pushes us as a company, Total Archery Challenge, to continue to try to progress and lead. We want to stay the leaders.
Yeah.
This forces us to not be complacent.
Yeah.
But it also is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a shoot every single weekend.
Competition drives innovation.
Exactly.
Like with the Gritty podcast, I get to, there's new shows that come up all the time. They provide competition. They're providing content, value to listeners, like I try to provide. But there are going to be, I want to be innovative and stay ahead, provide better information in a better format.
But you still want them there.
I do, because guess what? I consume other content.
Right.
I love to get on and listen to what so-and-so has to say on their show. And I value it and I benefit from it.
Yeah.
When I learn new things all the time from the other shows. And again, it keeps it, I think that each one of those shows has their sphere of influence,
right,
which then just promotes conservation, hunting, bow hunting, the outdoors.
Yeah. And that's how we are. Oh, I did this event, whatever it is, and somewhere they did a mountain shoot. Mm-hmm. Oh, have you heard of TAC? Okay, well, we'll do that, or vice versa.
And the thing that's cool, it's not, if you're in Utah and you go to Total Archery Challenge and a month later your competitor does one here, they can go to both.
You can go to both.
Right? And have a great time.
Yeah.
The issue is that the only issue is that the Total Archery Challenge is always going to be the best one.
Well, that's what we hope. Right? But in order for that to happen, we have to stay in the lead,
you
right?
have to have tee times.
But right. Well, hey, we're not the only ones doing it anymore.
Right.
There's other mountain shoots that are bringing this
the
on.
Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
They called me up.
Knock times.
Yeah, well, we're knock times. I told them they'd have to use a different term, so that I think they're using target time or something. But they called up to ask some questions. Hey, how'd you do it?
Yep.
What's the deal? We need to start implementing this at our shoot because it's getting way too crazy at one of ours and blah, blah, blah. And then I had another company that does a big shoot across the country, and they said, hey, I'm glad you did this and took the brunt of the hate because now we can follow suit.
Yeah.
Because people have seen it happen and
Yeah.
that it is a good thing. And it is a good thing.
Yeah.
We should have done it earlier. And there's a lot of guys that will be like, yeah, we told you to do it earlier.
No, I think it's cool.
But it
It's
takes
like
time to build it out.
when I started the podcast, people were like, what's a podcast?
Yeah.
What's a podcast? And they'd see me filming at somewhere, and they'll come by and they see an interview, and we got headsets on. They ask, where can I see this? And it's iTunes. What's it? Where? Huh? How?
You remember
And
you
then
made
I'd say,
a video
YouTube.
on how to do it?
I made a video that I published on YouTube on how to download a podcast or how to listen to a podcast.
How nuts is that?
That's
Because
awesome.
people didn't know how to consume a podcast. I mean,
Right.
that's when we came out with the show. And so I realized, look, if I'm going to kind of lead people into listening to podcasts that are in the hunting community, I'm going to need to do it through a medium that they're familiar with, like YouTube.
Right.
And then people could just go and watch the YouTube video and
Yeah.
go, oh, I get it now. And after they get in it and they see its value, and they're like, well, I could just listen to this while I'm driving to work. And then they figured out how the
Right.
podcast, and we tried to make podcasts cool instead of that nerdy thing you do in your mom's basement, you know,
But I don't know what that is. But
the boring discussion. And so we tried to do that. Once people caught the vision of it, though, you had podcasts coming up all
yeah,
over.
I mean, how many podcasts? We were at Western Hunt Expo here recently. If you walked around, there was how many going on at any given
We had
time.
people come over to our station and podcast in our little makeshift podcast
we
studio.
got asked if people could use, this is the third year in a row, can we podcast in your spot?
And you're like,
Sure.
why not?
So I think we had like 5 shows recorded
Yeah.
in our little recording area.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Competition is great, and it just forces you to continue, like you said, to continue to innovate. You can't be complacent.
Yep.
And continue to think of things on how to always be better. And a large part of that, I don't know about you, but for us, a lot of that comes from constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, what about this or that or whatever?
Okay. We're going to wrap this up. Before we do, people are coming to TAC. What should they do to maximize the quality of their experience at the Total Archery Challenge?
Well, first off, bring plenty of arrows. I think that's important.
Yeah.
So a backpack, snacks on the mountain in case you're out there for 4 hours or whatever. Hydration. We do have stations at the halfway point, but enough to get you to that halfway point and beyond. And, you know, we try to monitor all the time, but I won't say sometimes the stations ran out. So always bring hydration. I think that's number
Always
one.
be prepared, you Boy Scouts.
Yep. Boots or good shoes. I think that's important because you are hiking.
Mm-hmm.
All those things you would normally do to make a good hike enjoyable, that's what you need to do first and foremost. Secondly is check your gear. We've had people come out, they just grab their bow, they haven't shot it for a while, and they come out. I think it's super important to check your gear before you come. We do have people there that can help to some degree get through that, but make sure your gear's good.
I've learned that now because you're talking about long range,
Yeah.
right? So if your arrows aren't nock-tuned, if your bow's not tuned, and you're not getting consistent flight from shaft to shaft, it's like it could really ruin the whole day.
It does. Missing all the time, you would know you missed 7 in a row on the locals.
Yep, that was great.
It's frustrating, and it doesn't make it as fun. The other thing I'd say is D-loops. Check your D-loops and make sure they're in good shape. That's probably one of our bigger incidents for injury is a D-loop break and punch yourself in the face or whatever. So I think it doesn't take much. Just double check that it's in good shape and healthy. And if not, it doesn't take anything to have it redone.
I think too, this is one thing, showing up, and if your tee time is, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, get over to the practice range
Warm up.
and shoot a good a couple dozen shots and shoot out to 110 yards or whatever. So you can, if you need to adjust your sight a little bit, elevation can change your impact points everything starts to matter when you're shooting those kind of distances.
Right. Yep.
All those little details, they play into it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter when you're shooting 40 yards and under, even 50 yards and under, but you start poking out there and all of a sudden
everything changes.
Everything matters.
Yep.
So being able to, take those shots in the practice, get all that stuff dialed before you hit the course, I think it makes that course experience so much more enjoyable because you're like, okay, I spent an hour down here in the practice range. I got it all figured out. Everything's kind of dialed in. Now when you hit the course, you hit it with confidence. Because I've done it where I'm like, I show up the night before, late, get up in the morning, tee time 7 a.m., I hit the thing, I go up the mountain. First target, I miss. What? Second target, I miss. What? Third target, I miss. Only to find out, I get down to the bottom and I'm missing my draw stop on my bow and every shot's going crazy. I could have done that before I blew up a bunch of arrows and also embarrassed myself on top of the mountain with a whole group of my peers.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think it's, I think if you follow those few key things, which you should, most of these guys know anyway. But on top of that, take the time to get around and see the vendors, chat with them, see what they have to offer. And as you said earlier, make those relationships. If you want to experience TAC to the fullest outside of the shoot, take the time to mingle with everybody at the base.
Yeah.
There are a lot of cool people out there. There are a ton of cool companies. And those relationships, I mean, we've made friendships that I suspect will last forever. I mean, I've only met you because of this shoot.
Yep.
There's a chance that we may not have met.
Yeah.
If this wasn't happening.
I like Pennsylvania. I like Seven Springs. I love where we have dinner every night, which is the same spot. Everyone has dinner every night.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
It's like this cafeteria where everybody from school from the day comes together and hangs out.
Slap high fives and talk about it. It's
got a nice feel.
The archery community, this could go for a lot of communities that I've not been involved in.
Yeah.
But the archery community at TAC, it's non-competitive there. We're not paying out to the best shooter. It's just an event to get together and have fun and enjoy this.
Celebrate hunting and
celebrate just having a good time and getting together with your buddies. And there are so many people that come alone to this event, which I would never think to do. But they come because they know
they're going to meet
They're
cool
going to
people.
join up with someone.
Yeah, that blew me away. Last year when I was in Montana, I probably met 7, 8 guys that were there by themselves. They couldn't get a buddy to go or whatever. They got a time and they just showed up. And they were like I said, they met 3 guys which they hunted with that year in Montana. The guy had come from East Coast and had never hunted out west and got on, became buddies with him that day and became a hunting partner. It's real.
How cool is that, though, that you can come to an event like this and it's just like, you never shot before? No. All right. You're coming with us. Oh, you're here alone? Well, what are you doing? Come with us. You know what there are no, I shouldn't say none. There's not, the egos are out the door.
Yeah.
Everyone's there to make sure you have a good time. You have a good time.
No one wants to go up there, act like they're Billy Badass, when you know you're going to be shooting over 100 yards. It's not a good precedent to set.
Yeah.
Well, there are some guys that are way better than us at it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, but anyway, I guess the point is that this event brings together such a phenomenal type of people that I think it would be hard to replicate anywhere else. And for that, I love what we do and who we're partners with, and being able to share this with you, to share with your listeners, and the full circle on our community as a whole. The conservation side, working with the Elk Foundation, working with BHA, and the Wild Sheep Foundation, being able to do all these things together as a whole, and the differences that it makes is awesome to think about.
It is.
On top of the fact that this is a job, this is what I do for a living, that there are such more far-reaching benefits that come from it than just being able to do this as a living.
For people who don't know, Sean was a guide for many years and still guides.
Yep.
And have you ever shot a sheep for yourself?
No, but I've never guided a sheep either.
Yeah, you haven't?
No, so I've done moose. I guided moose, brown bear, caribou, black bear in Alaska, and then we do elk, mule deer, antelope in Montana.
Yeah.
And I have never killed a moose for myself or a brown bear. And I actually harvested my first black bear ever last year.
How many goats have you taken?
I just took one, but I've never guided goat. But I did get a goat 2 years ago.
It was last year, wasn't it?
I think it was. No, it was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And but I've just gotten into this thing where I'm hunting for myself now, and I absolutely love it. It's awesome.
What a novel idea.
Yeah. All these years I've spent going with other people, which I absolutely love. People always said, don't make your passion your job because it then turns into a job. Well, I started working for an outfitter in Alaska when I was 17, and I did that forever, and it was never a job. I love it. And in the end, if it's a job where you're outside hunting, I mean, come on. How could it ever really be a job?
Somebody was asking me about how much money I make, because
not important.
Because I made a lot of money in my old career life.
Yeah.
In the corporate world. And then, it's in some ways it's pay cut doing a hunting podcast, a hunting show.
Right.
But in other ways, it's a giant raise because of the lifestyle. The lifestyle.
Yep.
The places I get to go and the things I get to see that are part of the package. So it's well worth the trade.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And guiding, I made a living at it, but I made so much more out of it. Some of my best friends, there's a guy we hunt with in Texas all the time. You'll occasionally see us post something, We hunt in Colorado and Texas. He has a ranch there. And I met that guy in 2004, guiding him in Alaska. And then he came and hunted in Montana. And we talked 3 times a week on the phone. My wife had never met him in person. 10 years later, he comes to Utah to help me on my elk hunt. It's the first time my wife met him. She picked him up at the airport. And it was as if, they were best friends because we've had this phone relationship, which sounds dirty, but it was totally okay.
Yeah.
It's only $1.25 a minute.
But my point is I loved guiding because of the friendships that I built. I was able to hunt and do things that I absolutely love, which I still love to this day. And now I'm hunting for myself, and I've got 3 boys that are growing up. We've got a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. Both of those 2 have been out hunting and have done well. And so it's just shifted a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll still guide once in a while in Montana. I've pulled way back from that, and we're still doing a hunt. We guide for an outfitter up in Alaska, 1 hunt a year, just because we can get up there and do this and have this experience. It's not like there's tons of money in it, but it allows us to do something so fun that we love. And it's once a year, 1 hunt a year.
I've never been on a sheep hunt, and that's a tough tag to get.
I want to go.
And so I'm kind of, considering just spending some time, on a sheep hunt. Not my sheep hunt, but a sheep hunt.
I don't think it matters, does it?
Yeah, not in some ways, yes. Some ways I do. I'm not as...
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to do it, but for the experience, everything up to pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've been on quite a few hunts, rarely as the trigger man. And I still enjoy hunting.
Oh, for sure. I feel like the everything up until that moment it is the same in a lot of ways. The other issue about it is it's also liberating not to have the tag in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a certain amount of just pure enjoyment you're getting out of it because the pressure's not on you.
Yeah.
So I've been there before. Anthony talked about that a few times. He's like, man, I've really enjoyed some of these hunts I've been on where I didn't have a tag.
Yeah.
It allowed me to enjoy the hunt a lot more because he's so driven to be successful that it sort of overrides his enjoyment of the hunt.
Yeah.
He's just always been that way. And so not having a tag allowed him to just tap in and just really have a fun time, be loose and free because it's,
when you're guiding, or if you get to do multiple hunts a year like you do, I mean, how excited are you for opening day? is there anything more exciting? I don't remember Christmas being as exciting as opening day of a hunt.
I don't know. I think what's exciting is when you have a tag in your pocket and you're out hunting. Like when you're glassing
when you
a mountain.
get into that new area and you're camping and you're like, tomorrow's the day.
Definitely.
When have you ever thought?
Oh yeah, for sure. And the same thing when I'm out there the whole time, knowing that I've got the tag. This is my hunt. It's my ride. Any moment, Goliath could walk out, and it could just be awesome.
I'm a daydreamer, man. And now that I hunt I'm hunting like for myself. I'm a daydreamer.
Right.
Like Tyrell Gray and I hunt a lot together, and I had a Colorado tag this year, and he didn't draw, so we went up. He was with me the whole time, and we hunted for 5 days, and I did end up getting a buck, not a giant, just a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell you that for 5 days, 5 mornings, I sat there and I knew that monster was coming out.
Right.
And man, I'm just
220-inch.
Yeah, I'm just excited and going crazy. And I'm not even in an area where they kill bucks that big. But that sucker's in here.
That's how I am too.
Find him. And this is awesome. And it's like that. All the hunts, when we were on that mountain goat hunt that I had, it was the same thing. It's like we hunted for 10 days. And every morning it was like, today's the day.
Yeah.
Like, just can't wait. We're going to find the biggest billy on the mountain. I ended up shooting a dink, and it was still awesome. And so
a dinky goat is still a goat.
Yeah, seriously. When I was talking to Doran and Carter, we were talking about sheep hunting, and I was saying how he was saying, you know why Dustin kills a lot of sheep? Dustin Rowe? Because Dustin believes he will kill a sheep.
Yeah.
Like, he believes he will, and he does. It's like part of, might spend 14 days going and not see a single one, and then boom.
Just takes one.
So have you been on a guided hunt? You've been on guided hunts.
Yes.
So
that moose hunt that I did this last year
was on your guided hunts. Have you been? You've been on more than one, right?
Couple, yeah.
Okay. Has your guide ever been like?
I was with Cole Kramer on Sitka.
Well, see, Cole Kramer, I can't picture
Kodiak.
him ever being this. The Debbie Downer after day 3 or 4, you're starting to hear excuses, and they're not as excited about the hunt anymore. And like for me, when I was guiding, and when I still do every day, man, it's like today's the day.
Yeah,
like we're killing it today.
I haven't ever been on a hunt with. Fortunately, the people I've hunted with have like Primitive with Jeff Lander, Dustin Rowe, and his outfit, Cole Kramer. They're kind of top notch.
Yeah, they're excited about it, and you have to be.
And there's no Debbie Downer.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
That's the key.
Who's the Debbie Downer when you're hunting and there's no pressure?
It's better than any.
You don't have to pull the trigger.
I will say this that if it's a little different if you're a poor boy and you just spent $10,000 or $20,000 to go on a trip. Yes. There's or $50,000.
I'll tell you a quick story about that very thing.
Yeah.
Had a guy come up and did a brown bear hunt. This is years ago. It was a spring hunt. Very first day, we find a bear, and he had taken down a caribou. And I'm like, whew, sweet, let's go. We got this thing.
He's not moving anytime soon.
Yeah, we got this thing in the bag. So we hike off the mountain. We're about 400 yards from our camp. We come to a little creek. The ice is broken up. I said, hey, let's cross here. And this guy's, he's a bigger guy. He steps across, slips, his foot hits a rock, and his heel goes straight down, and he's a big boy, right?
Yeah.
He screams, lays down on the ground, and now I'm like, I don't know what to do. So we go back to camp. It takes us forever to get there. He's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
We look at his calf. His calf's twice the size of normal. I don't know if he's torn the muscle.
Right.
Outfitter flies in. What do you want to do? And the guy's like, this is my life. This is my life savings.
Let's go.
I'm going to stay here. This is day 1. My wife would kill me. I'm staying here. I'm not hunting as long as I'm good. I was packing him with ice. He was taking some ibuprofen, some Tylenol, whatever. 9 days, that dude laid in that tent. I read a lot of books. But I also was out watching every day for a bear.
Yeah.
No lie, on day 9, bear walks into camp 350 yards away, bed's down. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Come on, hump along, let's go.
I tell him, I'm like, there's a bear, and he's not far. We can get in on him, but we're going to have to get close. I don't like shooting bears a long distance. We need to get in. We're making sure it's a good shot.
Yeah.
So we get into 150 yards, and it takes us 3.5 hours.
I was going to say, I can crawl 300 yards if that's what's going to take.
3.5 hours to get there. Every time he broke through the snow, eyes full with tears. He's in a lot of pain. He shoots this bear. We get it. Deal's done. Takes us forever to get back. That bear had killed a caribou right there from camp. We didn't know when, and I'd watched it heading back to the kill.
Wow.
And he stayed. Well, he goes home, and he severed his Achilles.
Oh.
The doctor says, I have no idea how this is even possible, that you weren't in such pain, but what had happened, why his calf had swelled up, is the Achilles had
slipped up there.
9 months in different variations of cast.
Yeah.
And he's a 1/4 inch shorter on that side.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But he shot a bear.
But my point is, you said, if you've saved the money, imagine the pressure that guy had.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm going to be in a ton of pain, and I'm doing this. And
how much flack he would have gotten from his wife. You spent how much? You came home. No, you go back.
Yeah.
No, there's.
But I'm just saying, there is that that pressure to it.
I felt that. I felt that. You know, you invest a lot of money into a hunt, and not that killing an animal is the only marker of a successful outing in a successful trip. But for me, it certainly is a big part of it.
It's an easy,
especially when you spend that
that
kind of money. I absolutely agree.
Yep.
But
well, Sean, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on and running through all that with us.
Yeah, folks. You still want to go to TAC? You can. Yeah. There's a few venues that are still open. Go to totalarcherychallenge.com.
And don't give up on us yet. We're working on making more room. We just have to figure out how without sacrificing the experience.
You still got some time.
So, and, everybody DM Sean and send him a note and email him and say, hey, can I get on a waiting list?
Yeah. If you do want to get on the waiting list, because this thing does exist, especially if we're able to open up more area, it's info@totalarcherychallenge.com.
Awesome.
And that's the waiting list, whether it's Big Sky, Snowbird,
Peak, whatever.
Park City. Explain to them, hey, can you put me on the waiting list for whichever event that is? And it's happened in Big Sky already. We always have cancellations. I'm not saying if there's 600 people that want on, that 600 are going to cancel, but we just put them in order.
Yeah.
And as people cancel, we let people know, hey, do you want it? We need to know within the next day, and they can sign up. It's happened in Pennsylvania, and it's happened in Big Sky already this year. So it is worth it to do that. We wish we could get you all out there. We absolutely love all the support we've gotten. This is ridiculous and amazing, and we're going to figure out how to get more space, and we're always working on things to try to make it better.
Folks, thanks for tuning in to the Gritty Podcast. As always, we appreciate your support. Any reviews you can give us on iTunes, we love those.
Good or bad.
Thank you. No, just leave good ones. I used to say just leave us some feedback.
5 stars only.
5 stars only. Otherwise, just send us an email if you're going to hate us.
I'm going to make an app where you can change your stars.
Yeah,
we'll call
I would
it that.
like
change
that.
your stars. It's like turn a 1 star into 5. Bloop, bloop.
Yeah. Sign up for our newsletter. We're giving away the Hoyt bow. And as always, friends, stay gritty. Can you do that, Sean?
Yeah. Stay gritty.
Thanks, man.